Before you cast judgment on my choices, let me take you back to the moment it all unraveled. On my 70th birthday, I thought I was headed to a quiet lunch with my son. I wore my best jacket, the one with the polished buttons, and even combed my thinning hair with care. But instead of a warm meal and shared memories, I was handed a suitcase and a one-way ticket to oblivion. Betrayal, I learned, doesn't always come from enemies. It can carry the name you gave your own blood. If you're listening, stay with me until the end. Share where you're tuning in from in the comments below. They say a father's love is unshakable, steady through storms, forgiving through faults. I lived that truth. Every scraped elbow, every late-night fever, every schoolyard triumph. I was there for my son, Daniel. But that day, my 70th birthday, changed everything. The morning of my 70th birthday, I woke with a spark of hope in my chest. My small house in Canton, Ohio, felt quieter than usual, the kind of quiet that hums with expectation. Daniel hadn't called much lately. Work, he said, and trouble with his wife, Laura, but I clung to the belief he'd show up today. I brewed coffee, made his favorite bacon and eggs, and set the table for two. By noon, the plate sat untouched, the coffee cold. My heart dipped, but I pushed the doubt away. I checked my phone, scrolled through old messages, clinging to the warmth of his words from months ago. At 2 p.m. the doorbell chimed. There stood Daniel, his familiar lopsided smile stirring both relief and unease. "Happy birthday, Dad," he said, holding a cheap bouquet from the corner store. I forced a grin, ignoring the ache in my chest, and pulled him into a hug. His arms were stiff, his pat on my back mechanical. "Get your coat," he said. "I made reservations for lunch." I didn't question it. I grabbed my old wool coat, slipped on shoes that pinched my feet but looked sharp, and followed him to the car. My heart lifted, foolishly, like a boy expecting a grand adventure. But we didn't head toward the city or any restaurant. The car wound down a long driveway, flanked by oaks with leaves like burnt embers. Then I saw the sign, Maple Grove Senior Care. My stomach lurched. "Daniel, what's this?" My voice was sharper than I intended. He cleared his throat, eyes fixed on the road. "Dad, we need to talk. It's not safe for you to live alone anymore. The memory slips, the falls." "What falls?" I cut in, my pulse quickening. "I'm fine." He ignored me, his voice steady, rehearsed. "This place is perfect, safe, comfortable. People your age, activities." I laughed, a bitter sound that echoed in my ears. "You brought me here on my birthday?" He parked, stepped out, and opened the trunk. There it was, my suitcase packed, ready. "So I went through my things," I said, my voice low, trembling with disbelief. "Don't make this harder than it needs to be," he replied. His tone clipped. Inside, the facility smelled of bleach and boiled carrots. The receptionist's smile was too bright, too practiced. Daniel handed over papers, legal documents. My name scrawled in his handwriting. A power of attorney transfer, signed, sealed, done. I didn't cry, not then. I let them guide me to a room with beige walls, a stiff bed, and a window facing a concrete courtyard. My birthday gift, abandonment. I sat, coat still on, the bouquet wilting in my lap. The flowers mirrored the hollow ache in my chest. That night I lay awake, the mattress hard, the sheets sterile. The distant hum of a television and the shuffle of nurses' shoes filled the silence. I replayed every moment with Daniel, the loans I gave him, the excuses I made, the times I swallowed my disappointment because he was my son. But something broke inside me that night, a quiet fracture. I wasn't his father anymore. I was a burden to be discarded. The next morning I asked for my phone. The nurse, with a pitying smile, said Daniel had cancelled the line, claiming it confused me. That's when it hit me. This wasn't about care. This was about erasure. They wanted me gone, out of sight, out of their way. I stopped eating, not out of defiance, but because the truth was too heavy to swallow. Grief clung to me like damp air. Grief for the son I thought I knew, for the years I'd spent believing in him. The staff called me dear and Pops, as if I were a child or a ghost. My roommate, Walter, slept most of the day, muttering about daughters who never visited. I listened, his loneliness a mirror to my own. To keep my mind sharp, I worked crosswords, watched the news, reread an old mystery novel. But the weight of betrayal was sinking me deeper. Then, on the 5th day, I met Clara. She was a young nurse with kind eyes and braids tucked under her cap, filling in for a sick colleague. While checking my blood pressure, she said, "You don't belong here." Thomas. Her words caught me off guard. "I mean, some folks need this place, but you're not lost." I blinked back the sting in my eyes. We talked. I told her about Daniel, the suitcase, the papers. She listened not with pity, but with understanding. Later, she returned, slipping me a folded piece of paper. "This was Mr. Carter's," she whispered. "Found it in his old book." No one claimed it. It was a lottery ticket dated 2 weeks prior. I chuckled, the sound dry. "You think I should try my luck?" She grinned. "The world owes you something." That night, when the halls were quiet, I used the lounge's ancient computer to check the numbers. My hands froze. My eyes darted across the screen. 10 million. I printed the confirmation, folded it tight, and tucked it into my pocket. Fear, not joy, surged through me. If Daniel found out, if anyone found out, I'd never be free. The next day, I pulled Clara aside. "I need a lawyer. Someone discreet." She nodded, no questions asked. She connected me with James, a volunteer attorney who helped seniors with legal matters. When he arrived, I showed him the lottery ticket and whispered, "Can you help me vanish?" James didn't flinch. "We'll need to move fast." What followed was a whirlwind: paperwork, notarizations, a blind trust to hide the money, a new phone, a temporary address. I rewrote my will, leaving everything to charity, unnamed for now. Daniel had already stolen my life once. He wouldn't get another chance. Clara hugged me the night I left. "Don't forget us when you're free," she said. I slipped out before dawn, wearing borrowed clothes, carrying a duffel with only essentials. They thought I was frail, finished. But I was a ghost with $10 million, and I was just getting started. The bus ride to rural Kentucky was long and cold. I sat in the back, hood up, clutching my bag like it held my very soul. James had arranged a modest house under the trust's name. Simple. Off-grid, no neighbors too close. When I crossed the state line, I exhaled, the metallic taste of fear lingering. The house was plain, a single story, with peeling paint and a creaky porch, but it was mine. The silence here wasn't oppressive like the facilities. It was freedom. I lived quietly, cooking basic meals, watching leaves drift across the yard. The lottery ticket stayed in a fireproof box under a floorboard, alongside my new will and a burner phone. I checked the news daily, expecting my name in headlines, "Missing Father Wins Millions." But there was nothing. Then, a week later, a knock at the door shattered the calm. My heart pounded. I hadn't told anyone where I was. Peering through the curtain, I saw a delivery man with groceries, part of James's arrangement. Still, paranoia lingered. I created a fake email and searched for Daniel online. His latest post read, "If anyone has seen my father, Thomas Reed, please contact me or the Canton police. He's been missing and we're worried." Comments poured in, prayers, sympathy, praise for his devotion. I laughed until tears came. They didn't know the half of it. The photo he used was from my 65th birthday, me in a plaid shirt, him with his arm around me, both of us smiling. The memory stung. How easy it was to fake love for a camera. That night, I sat by the fireplace, the image burning in my mind. Every loan I'd given him, every excuse I'd accepted, every subtle jab, "You're forgetting things, Dad," as came rushing back. He'd made me doubt myself, primed me for this betrayal. I wasn't aging poorly. I was being manipulated. I called James. "Update the will. Daniel gets nothing, not a cent, not a memory." "You're safe now, Thomas," he said. But I wasn't, not yet. A letter arrived days later. Heavy paper, no return address. Inside, a photocopy of a loan document from 15 years ago, my signature alongside my late wife, Ellen's and Daniel's, a $100,000 loan I'd never signed. The bank's logo was real, the notary stamp convincing, but it wasn't mine. I dug through my files, finding 3 more forged documents. The truth hit like a fist. Daniel had been stealing from us for years. Ellen's quiet stress in her final days, our dwindling savings, the cancelled trips. It wasn't bad luck. It was him. I didn't cry. I got to work. Over 3 days, I uncovered more. Loans in our names. One using our old hardware store's LLC. Signed after Ellen's death. Federal fraud. I saved everything. Encrypted it, printed copies for the fireproof box. If Daniel suspected I had millions, he'd come for me. And I'd be ready. The betrayal cut deeper than I could say. The boy I'd taught to ride a bike, the man I'd bailed out of debt was a stranger. A public records search with James's help revealed the worst. Daniel was under federal investigation for tax fraud, embezzlement, and identity theft. My identity. Returns filed in my name, refunds siphoned off. He'd locked me away to keep me silent. But I wasn't silent anymore. I was gathering evidence, every loan, every lie, every forged signature. I mailed it anonymously to the Department of Justice. Let them start digging. Paranoia grew. A car lingered too long down the road. A man knocked, claiming a survey. I didn't open the door. I finalized the trust, layering it with legal protections. Daniel would never touch my money. But the quiet moments hurt most. Memories of his childhood laughter, his teenage rebellion, the way he'd clung to me when Ellen died. How had I missed the signs? Regret gnawed at me, but I pushed it down. I wasn't done fighting. Another letter came in Daniel's sharp handwriting. I know what you're doing. This isn't over. Arrogant as always. I added it to my evidence. Then came the courthouse letter. Daniel had petitioned to declare me incompetent. He submitted edited voicemails, a psychiatrist's letter from someone I'd never met, and statements from a neighbor and an old friend, claiming I was erratic. He wanted my accounts frozen, my freedom gone. James fought back. We gathered proof, call logs, financial records, a psychiatric evaluation from Dr. Marie Holt, who spent hours with me. You're sharper than most men half your age, she said. Her report was airtight, no cognitive decline, emotionally stable. The media caught wind. Daniel played the grieving son on TV, but cracks formed. Online, people questioned his story. I recorded a video statement. Just in case. I'm Thomas Reed of Sound Mind. Betrayed by my own son. I didn't release it, not yet. The courthouse was cold, the halls echoing with my footsteps. I wore my navy coat, Ellen's old watch ticking on my wrist. Daniel sat up front, his face a mask of concern. His lawyer painted me as confused, manipulated, a danger to myself. They played my voicemails, twisted to sound unhinged, my hands clenched. Then I took the stand. I'm Thomas Reed, 70 years old, not lost, not broken. My son put me in a facility without consent, took my phone, my freedom. Don't let him take my dignity. I handed the judge Dr. Holt's report, my financial logs, an affidavit from James. I held back the fraud evidence for now. The judge postponed the ruling for 2 weeks. Daniel's eyes burned into me as I left, but I didn't look back. My dignity was intact, and I was ready for war. Daniel escalated, spinning tales of my instability on the news. I sent the fraud evidence to the DOJ, then I donated $5 million anonymously to an elder abuse nonprofit. Their campaign, inspired by my story, sparked whispers online. Why's the son so desperate to control her? A journalist, Emily, met me secretly. I told her everything but the lottery. Her story ran, father or fraud? The silencing of Thomas R. The tide was turning. At the second hearing, James dropped the bomb. Daniel's federal investigation. Dr. Holt testified to my clarity. I faced Daniel. I'm the man who carried you on my shoulders, who paid your debts, who loved you. You left me like garbage. The judge dismissed the case, restoring my autonomy. Daniel's mask shattered. The DOJ moved fast. Daniel was indicted. Wire fraud, identity theft, tax evasion. His life unraveled. Clients gone, accounts frozen, wife leaving. I stayed silent, writing letters I'd never send. Cooking meals, watching the frost settle. Emily's interview aired nationally. I spoke plainly. This is for every parent discarded, every elder silenced. I'm not quiet anymore. The Margaret Project, named for my late wife, launched with my fortune, offering legal aid to exploited elders. Daniel took a plea, 10 years. He sent one last letter with a photo from my 68th birthday, him laughing beside me. You believed in me. I'm sorry. I burned it, not in anger, but for peace. I returned to Maple Grove, the facility softer now. New books, better coffee thanks to my donations. Clara hugged me tightly. You changed everything. Thomas, I spoke to the residents, you're not a burden. You're not forgotten. Their applause warmed the hollow places in me. Back home, I wrote a letter to myself. Dear Thomas, you loved deeply, and they tried to erase you. But you wrote your own ending. I'm proud of you. I placed it on the mantel next to Ellen's watch. Freedom wasn't money or revenge. It was truth, and it was mine. Thanks for listening. Share your story below. Your voice matters.